Hello, I'm back with you to read Chapter 18, St. Andrew's Children's Hospital. It took 5 trips in each of Charlotte's and Bob's cars to transport the characters from Starboardia to St. Andrew's Children's Hospital. They covered each pirate and sailor in scrubs and medical masks and quickly escorted them through the hospital to the empty commissary in the brand new wing. It would have been simpler if the Dalai Lama crew weren't such a curious bunch. They pocketed medical supplies as they passed unoccupied countertops, snuck charts off hospital room doors, and stole pens out of the lapels of unobservant physicians. By the time they reached the commissary, the pirates' pockets were full of scissors, band-aids, and medical tape, and a few of them wore bedpans as hats. The commissary was a wide and colorful room. It had dozens of tables, hundreds of chairs, adjoining bathrooms, and a large, never-been-used kitchen. It was the perfect place for temporarily housing Connor's characters. Ironically, the commissary had been decorated with the classic storybook theme. The walls were covered with murals of Alex and Connor's friends, and the support beams had been painted to look like book spines. Anticipating her children's return from the fairy tale world, Charlotte had cleared a space in the corner of the commissary and placed the Land of Storybook in Connor's binder of short stories on the floor. Once all the characters from Starboardia had been successfully escorted inside, the Emerald Storybook flipped open and a beam of light appeared. Red ran out of the beam like a bull released from a pen and looked around the commissary. She sighed with relief and stretched her arms out. "Thank goodness," she said. "I'm indoors." "Hi, Red," Charlotte said. "Long time no see." Without even making eye contact with the twins' mother or the Dalai Lama crew, Red ran to the window and yanked the blinds open. Rays of sunlight shined inside, and Red was blissfully spinning in them. "Daylight, I've missed you so much," Red said, and turned to the others. "No one look at me for at least 20 minutes. I haven't seen the sun in weeks. I'm paler than Snow White with the stomach flu." "Good to see you too, Red," Bob said under his breath. It wasn't long before the others of the fairy tale world joined her. Claudius ran out from the beam behind Red. Unlike his mother, the wolf was very social. He did an excited lap around the commissary and visited with every human he saw. Jack and Goldilocks stepped out of the beam next, and Jack helped his pregnant wife to the closest seat. They were joined shortly afterward by Robin Hood, the Merry Men, Lester, the Tin Woodman, Peter Pan, the Lost Boys, and Trobella. Just like the characters from Starboardia did when they arrived on Sycamore Drive, the characters from the fairy tale world and classic literature stared in awe at the wondrous new world around them. "Welcome to St. Andrew's Children's Hospital," Charlotte said. "So this is the other world," Jack said, and whistled at the sight. "It's colorful," Goldilocks said. She side-eyed the decorations. "They certainly make reading a lifestyle here." Before Bob and Charlotte began the complicated task of introducing the new characters to the old characters, Alex and Connor popped out of the beam of light beside them. "Oh, cool, we're already at the hospital," Connor said and cleared his throat. "Ladies, gentlemen, chicken, and blissworm from my stories. Allow me to introduce you to the ladies, gentlemen, goose and wolf from classic literature and fairy tales." The introduction didn't go as well as the twins had hoped. The characters circled one another like animals meeting in the wild. "Pirates!" Peter Pan shouted at the Dalai Lama crew. "Guys, knock it off," Alex said. "We're all on the same side here. These people are going to help us defeat the literary army." "Sorry," Peter said. "For whatever reason, I'm always inclined to shout pirates when I see them. Bad habit." The Rosary Chicken fearfully laid an egg as soon as she saw Claudius, and he chased after her. The Blissworm didn't want to miss out on the fun, so it jumped aboard the wolf and rode him like a cowboy. Lester thought the Blissworm was the most delicious-looking worm he had ever seen, so he chased after the others, forming a bizarre parade of fictional creatures. "Rule number 1, Connor said. No one is allowed to eat anyone else." The Rosary Chicken clucked with relief. Claudius and Lester stopped in their tracks and slumped. The Blissworm tugged on Claudius's collar. Connor didn't say the fun had to stop. It took the fairy tale characters a few moments to realize the pictures of many of them were painted on the walls throughout the commissary. They walked to their respective murals and stared at the artwork worryingly. "Look, boys, we're on the wall," Peter said, and pointed to the mural of them. "Wait a minute. Is this place a church? Are we gods in this world?" "Don't flatter yourself," Connor said. "People just like your story here." The Tin Woodman found himself on the mural of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, but didn't recognize the 3 others he was traveling with down the Yellow Brick Road. "Who are the people I'm linking arms with?" the Tin Woodman asked. That's Dorothy the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, Alex explained. You would have met them in Oz if we hadn't found you first. Did they drop a barn on me as well? The Tin Woodman asked. I don't remember, Alex lied. Robin Hood and the Merry Men gathered around the mural of Robin Hood. The resemblance between the real Merry Men and the painted Merry Men was striking. However, Robin Hood was depicted very effeminately in the painting. He wore bright green tights and had short, curly bob and no facial hair. I don't understand, Robin Hood said. What is my mother doing in this painting? Trobella stared up in awe at the beautiful mural of Cinderella in a ball gown. She smiled from ear to ear and clutched her hands over her heart. Oh, my troublin' heavens, it looks just like me, she said. There are some very talented painters in the other world. Red let out an ear-splitting scream when she saw the mural of Little Red Riding Hood. The twins looked between the real Red and the painted Red, but they couldn't figure out what was so offensive. All they could see was an adorable girl in a red cape running from the big bad wolf. Red, what's the problem? Alex asked. They made me a brunette, Red yelled. The twins rolled their eyes. Red turned her back to the room and pouted as she continued soaking up the sun. That reminds me, Connor said. I need to go back to Galaxy Queen and get the cyborgs. He went to his binder of short stories, flipped it open to Galaxy Queen, and vanished into the beam of light. As he went, Alex noticed that Goldilocks and Jack were whispering to each other and suspiciously glaring across the room. Is everything okay? Alex asked. Alex, are my hormones driving me mad, or do that man and woman look exactly like Jack and me? Goldilocks said. Alex looked at Auburn Sally and Admiral Jacobson on the other side of the room. They were also whispering to each other and shooting peculiar glances at Jack and Goldilocks. Clearly they were having the same conversation. A lot of Connor's characters are based on people he knows, Alex said, but trust me, it could be a lot worse than a captain and an admiral. As soon as she said this, the cyborg queen charged out of the Galaxy Queen beam of light. She ignored everyone in the commissary and rolled directly to the windows where Red stood. The two large solar panels came out of her metal shoulders, and she pointed them toward the sun. Daylight, thank goodness, the cyborg queen said. I haven't had a solar charge in weeks. The cyborg queen stretched her solar panels so far she took up the whole window. Excuse me, Red said, you're blocking my light. Who says it's your light to begin with, the cyborg queen said. Red was appalled by her rudeness, so she left the window and took a seat by Jack and Goldilocks. I don't know who or what that woman is, but she is terrible, Red said. Goldilocks fought a smile and leaned close to Alex. I see what you mean, she said. Connor and Commander Neuters hurried out from the Galaxy Queen beam and cleared a large area of the commissary, stacking chairs and tables on top of each other until there was a large open space. Connor, what's that for? Charlotte asked. The cyborgs, he said. Neuters removed a small remote from his belt and pointed it at the beam. 20 mechanized wagons carrying 50 cyborg soldiers each rolled out of the beam of light. The cyborgs were deactivated and were stacked on top of one another like folding chairs. Neuters steered the wagons into the cleared area and parked them. Is that humane? Bob asked with wide eyes. Probably not, Neuters admitted, but if we keep them deactivated until battle, we save a fortune on our electric bill. The characters settled into groups throughout the commissary like high school cliques. The people of each dimension had their own set of tables and cautiously eyed another from afar. Will they be okay? Charlotte asked. They'll warm up to each other, Connor said, and then whistled to get the room's attention. Everybody listen up. Alex and I have to head to my next story to recruit more characters. Everyone please be nice to one another while we're gone. Mom and Bob are in charge unless they are at work. Then Jack and Goldilocks are in charge. The characters from Starboardia, Galaxy Queen, The Land of Stories, Sherwood Forest, Neverland, and Oz all nodded respectfully, then quickly returned to watching one another apprehensively. Alex and Connor hugged Bob and Charlotte and went to the binder of short stories. Connor flipped it open to his next story and poured 3 drops of the portal potion on the pages. Connor stepped toward the beam of light that appeared, but Alex stopped him before she entered it. Hold on a second, she said. You're supposed to tell me what to expect at the next stop, and don't spare details this time. If there are bug guts, I want to be prepared. The next story is called The Ziblings, Connor explained. It's about 4 kids with superhuman powers. They all lost their parents at an early age and went to live at the same orphanage. One night, an asteroid carrying cosmic radiation hit their orphanage and affected their DNA, giving them phenomenal abilities. They were adopted by a billionaire astrophysicist named Professor Wallet and taken to his laboratory where he raised them and trained them to be superheroes. Professor Wallet? Alex asked. Yeah, I lost my wallet the day I wrote it and thought it was a good name, Connor said. Moving on. We're going to travel to their city and meet them at the scene of a bank robbery. While they're saving the bank, we'll sneak inside the Zibling mobile and follow them back to their secret laboratory and ask them to join us. Will they cooperate? She asked. The siblings are very competitive siblings, Connor said. They'll never pass up a challenge, especially if there's an opportunity to outshine each other. Okay, Alex said with a nod. Zound Zuper. Leave the jokes to me, Connor said. The twins stepped into the beam of light and disappeared from St. Andrew's Children's Hospital. That is the end of Chapter 18. Chapter 19 is called The Siblings. I'll see you guys next time.